My top 8 players to pick in the final round of your fantasy draft. Let's dive in. So today, for this exercise, we're going to use players that are going outside the top 150 in ADP, courtesy of our friends at Underdog Fantasy. Before we get to that top 8, gotta tell you, there is a massive giveaway going on at FantasyPros right now. Do you want a chance to win a signed Tyreek Hill Miami Dolphins jersey, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction? All you have to do, subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now, comment below on the video, and that is it. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure to tune in for those notifications and so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's get to the players. Number 8, David Njoku, going as tight end 21, 173rd overall. We know the athleticism is there with Njoku. We know the upside is there, and he has flashed elite efficiency. Last year, 11th in yards per route run, 5th in yards after catch per reception. I understand that going from Deshaun Watson to Jacoby Brissett at quarterback is a big downgrade, but he is only competing with Amari Cooper for the top part of the target totem pole in Cleveland. He can match Amari Cooper for targets this year. Don't rule it out. Number 7, staying with the tight end position, Gerald Everett, going in as the tight end 18, 155th overall on Underdog. What we want for the tight end position in fantasy is touchdowns and routes, and Gerald Everett is walking into a fantastic offensive situation, and he's going to get the routes. The Los Angeles Chargers were 5th in points per game last year, 2nd in red zone scoring opportunities per game. You tie all of this to Gerald Everett, who last year was 13th in yards per target, 12th in fantasy points per target, and after week 10, tight end 12 in fantasy points per game amongst all the tight ends that played 4 more games over that stretch. Wheels up on Gerald Everett to be this year's Dawson Knox. Fantastic touchdown gobbling tight end in a top 5 offense. Number 6, Wan'Dale Robinson, going as wide receiver 81, 189th overall on Underdog. The prospect profile for Wan'Dale Robinson was beautiful. I understand he is not the tallest player, but you look at his production and the fact that he was a second-round NFL draft pick, 98th percentile college target share, 95th percentile breakout age. He was 18th in yards per route run and 13th in receiving yards from the slot. The Giants need playmakers. And with Sterling Shepard coming off the Achilles injury, Kenny Golladay struggling, and he's not exactly a young pup himself, it's Kadarius Toney or Wan'Dale Robinson. They're going to step forward in this passing attack this year. So at the cost of free, the upside is definitely there for Wan'Dale to break out in his rookie year. Staying on the rookie train with the wide receiver position, Jalen Tolbert coming in at number 5. Wide receiver 68, 151st overall on Underdog, 96th percentile college dominator, 95th percentile collegiate target share. And I know he's coming from a small school, but he is getting airdropped. Again, we're targeting good offenses. Dallas is going to be top 10 in scoring, neutral pace, passing rate this year. He's catching passes from Dak Prescott, and he's going way too late for the upside that he presents, considering we've seen the talent at the collegiate level. 6th and 7th in receiving yards of the last 2 seasons. He was 32nd and 12th in yards per route run amongst all FBS receivers with 50 or more targets over that span. Don't sleep on Jalen Tolbert in this year's fantasy season. He can break out and crush for you as a late round gem. Number 4, Kendrick Bourne. Not a lot of people are going to tell you out there, except if you're tuned into this channel or listening to the FantasyPros podcast, that Kendrick Bourne finished with the same number of top 24 wide receiver finishes as his teammate Jacoby Myers, with 6 of those weeks. Going at wide receiver 82, 192nd overall on Underdog, Bourne flashed great efficiency last year. 14th in yards per route run. He was quietly the wide receiver 37 in fantasy points per game. And this New England offense, for as much as everybody's got trepidation, questions, concerns, problems with it, don't know where the targets are going to go, it is quietly one of the league's best offenses. They were 10th in red zone scoring attempts per game last year, 7th in points per game. And those numbers might shock you, but yes, the Patriots still have a good offense. Invest in Bourne for this year. Number 3, Getting away from the wide receiver position and switching over to running backs and going with a player that's not exactly young, nor is it sexy, Mark Ingram. He is going as the RB55, 175th overall, and you need to get action on this, especially in your early redrafts, because he's going to rise. When Alvin Kamara's suspension becomes official, he's going to miss 3 to 6 games, at least that's what we're hearing in earlier reports. Mark Ingram's ADP is going to climb, and I understand he is old, but the Saints don't care. They used him in a workhorse role last year, and he responded. 3 games as the Saints starter. RB24, RB8, RB15. Even at this price, the last pick of your draft, if you can get him, last few rounds, for the time he's going to be the starter for New Orleans, he's going to return top 24 production, top 36 at least. So you're looking at a flex play. If he rolls back into the role that he had last year when Kamara was out, top 24 running back for the price of free, and he's not dust. 27th in yards after contact per attempt last year, and that might not sound like a glittering ranking for you, but that was right ahead of James Conner and Alvin Kamara, who were top 3 round running backs. The time when he was with New Orleans, 1.31 yards per route run, that would have been 25th amongst all running backs with 20 or more targets last year. I get he's old, but he's not dust. Number 2, staying with the running back position, Tyrion Davis-Price, RB49, 158th overall. Look, I get we're still in shell shock. We all have PTSD from Trey Sermon hype last year. Don't let that deter you from a player that is going way too late in drafts for the upside that he presents in one of the league's best offenses. They're going to be good this year. Trey Lance under center, because I get Jimmy G is still there, but we're projecting Trey Lance is going to be the starter. Tyrion Davis-Price was not a prospect I was high on coming into the NFL draft, but he did well in speed and performance metrics in the sense that he was 77th percentile in his 40-yard dash, 73rd percentile in his 10-yard split. We should care about this because it shows you that despite production at LSU, things of that nature, and really we weren't projecting him to go this high, he can operate his own running scheme, which San Francisco loves. We'll still love this year. And can he be a productive player as possibly a discount version of Damian Harris this year? Yeah, early down grinder who's going to get touchdown opportunities. If he walks into a touchdown outlier season in San Francisco's offense, you could be glad you drafted him. And number 1, the king of the mountain, the player that could be the late season fantasy hammer for you this year, Jameson Williams, coming in at wide receiver 63, 160th overall. The ACL concerns are pushing him down the board, but if he plays this year, especially down the stretch, he can be a fantasy league winner for you. 13th in yards per route run in his final season at Alabama, his only season at Alabama. He was top 16 in passer rating when targeted in short and intermediate areas of the field last year. This tells you that not only is he one of the league's best deep threats, and I know that might sound hyperbolic, but legit, he has afterburners and skill for days to get open deep. This tells you that he is a triple threat. He can get open at all 3 levels of the field, and even if we go with just the fact that he's a deep threat and a really, really good deep threat, weeks 14 through 17, he gets 3 teams in Minnesota, the Jets, and the Chicago Bears that were all 24th or lower in DVOA against deep passing. Now, Minnesota made some upgrades in their secondary this offseason. That doesn't mean that they're going to be fantastic. Same with the Jets. And we know the Bears secondary outside of Jalen Johnson is still putrid. So you need to be targeting Jameson Williams in your drafts. Enjoy him as a possible late season hammer. Be tuning in to all this content over at the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Again, get entered to win that signed Tyreek Hill jersey. Rewind this video. Tune in for those details. It's easy. Takes you 30 seconds to get entered to win this fantastic giveaway from our friends at Pristine Auction. And enjoy drafting. Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.